praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakah HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and including the elder bishops on down that have taught us thoroughly well through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Barakatham, to the overall elect, whom this gospel is for, and this your brother Laban. And I just want to give my take on what was said on this video by this guy Dave Hodges, as he's entitled, his show called The Common Sense Show. And I mean, this man's been bringing information out for years, as long as I've known him anyway. And before I go further, what I want to do is I want to play maybe a minute and some seconds in, and then we're going to get into the lesson.
Okay, I liked Prime Minister Bennett of Israel. He was in between the Netanyahu terms. He tried to broker a ceasefire deal and had Zelensky and Putin on board with it, but Biden came in and says, listen, Zelensky, you can't trust Putin, and if this doesn't hold, you're on your own. We're not going to come back and save you. And so he backed out of the peace agreement, but Bennett had set that up without condition, by the way. The only condition was Putin had to leave Zelensky alone, couldn't kill him. Now here comes Netanyahu. This man is a threat to world peace. I'm not saying what's happened is correct. I'm talking about October 7th. I'm not talking about that at all. What I'm talking about is him engaging in activities in the Middle East that could lead to a much wider war, and he's pulling us into it. Trump needs to disassociate. Listen, bombing Gaza and killing innocent people who've done nothing to you. It's not they're bombing Hamas. They're bombing indiscriminately.
Yeah, and I just want to stop it there, because he said that basically, yes, they're bombing indiscriminately and they're not bombing the right people, which is what he was going to say. But, there's no dissension between the two. They're not going to disintegrate. They're going to roll together until prophecy is fulfilled. And I'm going to get into that sooner than later. All right. And it's come out, in the news that Gaza's been hit again, and as well as Yemen as well, showing you that the presidents of America, they don't have a change of plan at all where it concerns geopolitics. It's been the same ever since. There's agendas at hand that they have to fulfill for the powers that be, which is above them. As well as we'll always tell you that the presidents, your prime ministers, and your various politicians only but hold so much power, that which is allowed. And if you want to take it a step higher, is the Most High that has the most power. And he's basically manipulating the men that have the power over them to fulfill his will. And this is what we want to expect. All right. This is what is to be expected, should I say. One and better. So, the first scripture that I want to read is Joel, 3? In verse 1, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, which means that the Lord is going to pull back the captivity from Jerusalem. All right. That's what that means, from the Hebrew word shawab, which means to bring back in the right context. Verse 2, and I will also gather all nations, and I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is in the east, primarily where Israel is at as well. And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel. Who are the Israelites? The so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Hence is why we're geared towards the third woe, which is coming quickly, for the controversy of Zion. All right. So this third world's war is going to be the utmost judgment for all of these nations. And that's just one part that I'm going to mention. All right. But what I want to do is before I read Revelation 16, what I want to do is I want to get this precept as well. Yeah, this is it right here. Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, and surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. So just as well as I've mentioned, there is a higher power that is controlling all things, and even the men whom he has created, to fulfilling his will. So in his will, surely the least of the flock, these Israelis, are going to draw them out. Who are those which will be drawn out? America will be drawn out into this nuclear war. And surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. So there you go. So right now, the U.S. is doing Israel's work and helping them, while they do what they do in the East. Because what Israel wants to maintain power in the East. And as well as, DJ Trump, he wants a piece of Gaza. And then he's pretty much conveying that, and Israel as well, as this article says, U.S. and Israel see Syria as possible home for relocated Gazans, say reports. So they want that land. And that's another reason why, out of many, why the destruction that they're causing over there. And hence is one of the reasons why that they continue to bring hell in the East. But bringing hell in the East is going to bring them hell. Okay? And I just showed you. Because once they get into this war, then before you know it, it's going to be all out. And then Russia's going to have to join in and protect this ally, such as Iran. All right? So that's the will of the Lord. See, DJ Trump can't do too much. No politician can override the will of the Lord. All right? The will of the Lord is going to play out among men who he has put in the position of power. Whether they be the dark powers that be, or whether they be the powers seen. Revelations, 16 and verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And what I'll do is I'll put it on post-production, and you can clearly see it's getting drier and drier to the point of it drying out, because war is getting ready to be prepared among these nations, to judge these nations for the wrongs that they have done against our people all around. All right. So the war in the East is going to intensify, and that's what we got to look at. What's happening in the East, because that's where it's all going to start. Now let's even read this as well. 2nd Ezra 15 and verse 30. Also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood, and with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and shall waste the portion of the land of the Assyrians. And if you've ever seen a wild boar running to and fro, then you'll understand the picture of what is being explained here. 31. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. And the Carmanians is just a Greek way of referring to the people of Elam, primarily those Persians, which they're currently known as the people of Iran today. And then these shall be troubled, bled, and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. And from the land of the Assyrians shall the enemy besiege them, and consume some of them, and in their hosts shall they be feared, and dread and strife among their kings. Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm, and they shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, even their own star. And blood shall be from the sword unto the belly, and dung of men unto the camel's hue. And there shall be a great fearfulness and trembling upon earth, and they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. And then shall there come a great storm from the south, and from the north, and another part from the west. The strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open it. And the clouds which he raised up in wrath, and the stars stirred to cause fear towards the east and the west wind, shall be destroyed. So those nuclear missiles are gonna release a powerful wind, and what will arise is large clouds, pillars of smoke, so that you can understand. All right. And the great and mighty cloud shall be puffed up full of wrath, and the star, that they may make all of the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place an horrible star, fire and hell and flying swords and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of wood, and grass upon the meadows, and their corn, which is reminiscent of the book of Joel, the 2nd chapter, where it mentions that these shall fly upon the, upon the walls, right? So it's referring to the nuclear missiles, which is going to pave the way for the greatest destruction ever to be foretold of the prophets. All right. And this is going to all happen towards, as it reads, and they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid, which is America. Now you had wars that were had in ancient Babylon between the Persians and the Medes, but it ain't talking about that. This is talking about the war to come. All right. And they shall come to her and besiege her, the star, and all wrath shall they pour out upon her. And then shall the dust and smoke go up unto the heaven, and all they that be about her shall bewail her, which is reminiscent of what it reads in Revelations 18. They shall bewail her, right? Revelations 18:9. And the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her, when they shall see the smoke of her burning, standing afar off, for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas, alas, for that great city, all that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy judgment come, and the merchants of the earth shall weep and mourn over her, for no man buyeth their merchandise anymore. So there you go. So all of these people that have lived deliciously, in other words, they've been sending products just so that they can be a wealthy nation, so to speak. That's all going to be put to an end. Primarily China. The reason why China became the greatest nation now economically, because they've been selling their products to America in mass. And by the way, America is, as well as it's known as a land of commerce, because America is a consumer-based nation. So you're going to be constantly making bank if you're in a different country. Let's just say you're China and you're selling your products in mass. You're going to make a killing. And that's why the economy of China has risen, but not so much now like it used to be before. But China's made a lot of money off America, and we can also include the cars of Japan, certain cars which were made from Europe. All right, so all of that is going to be gone once America is destroyed thoroughly. The nations are going to go right back down to where they were. They're going to be poor again. And as a matter of fact, they're going to be all destitute, and they're going to be all slaves. Because not everybody's going to die in this nuclear war. The ones that remain alive, primarily the nobles of them, and some of the people that are there, they're going to be ready-made for slaves. All right, they're going to be ready and prepared for slavery. And that's going to be the end result of all of this. And this is the judgment of the Lord, which cannot be put off and won't be put off. So it doesn't really matter what men are going to do. The only thing that a man can do is fulfill the will of the Lord, as we're always going to tell you here. All right. And that's all I'm going to say with this. I want to give all of the praises and the glory to the Most High and His Son, Yahweh Bashmi Shai, Bahashem Marukah Kodash. And with that, I'm closing with this Shalom.